Mavs fans, what's going on? Welcome into NBA Now from Chat Sports. I'm your host, Jimmy Crowther, breaking down all the latest news and rumors going around Mavs Nation. And we're starting off with the one that is dividing all of Mavs Twitter, all of Mavs social media everywhere. It's the Andre Drummond ordeal. Look, he's on the block. Detroit is confident that he's going to get traded this week, according to Mark Stein. And, you know, the original rumor was, hey, Atlanta and the Pistons have had some really in-depth conversations about Drummond, but other teams have emerged as suitors, including the Dallas Mavericks, the Boston Celtics, Toronto Raptors, Cleveland Cavaliers, and you know, these are all teams that make sense for Drummond in a sense. Now, Brad Townsend of the Dallas Morning News said that the Mavs weren't interested about a week ago, but here we are. Look, you can't not be at least a little bit intrigued because the numbers are insane for Drummond. He's averaging 17.4 points per game, leading the league in rebounds at 15.9. A good shot blocker at 1.9, not great in the interior defense, but still blocking shots well. And he's shooting nearly 53% from the field. Now, I just mentioned it. Drummond is the leading rebound getter in the league right now. Rebounds per game, nobody even touches him. Rudy Gobert is about a rebound and a half behind him. Clint Capella's up there of the Houston Rockets. Hassan Whiteside's having a nice little resurgence in Portland, although they're not winning games. And then Domantas Sabonis is also in the top 5. Now, let's say the Mavs actually are interested, as reported by multiple different reporters on social media. Here's what Bleacher Report said the Mavs could offer to get Andre Drummond. Dwight Powell and Tim Hardaway Jr. for Andre Drummond. No picks, no other young pieces swapped. Just two kind of veterans, but young veterans in Powell and Tim Hardaway Jr. Now, I'm going to give you my trade idea, but in just a minute because we have a great deal with our ad sponsors at Fanatics. We've got 3 different deals for you guys to go check out. The first one is this Mavs Nike short sleeve t-shirt for 40% off when you go to chatsports.com/Mavs3. Chatsports.com/Mavs. The number 3 after that gets you 40% off this Mavs Nike t-shirt. Now, maybe you want the MVP on your shirt. Let's go get a Luka Mavs t-shirt for 30% off. That's chatsports.com/Mavs4 to get that Luka Doncic shirt from Fanatics. And hey, maybe you don't want either of those, but you're looking for a hat, you're looking for a hoodie, you're looking for a beanie, whatever it may be. Fanatics got you hooked up for up to 60% off all Mavs gear when you go to chatsports.com/Mavs sale. Go check them out. I promise you, I got a bunch of great Christmas gifts from Fanatics using our deals here at Chat Sports. If you want to get in on the same deals, that's all you got to do. So again, those 3 links, chatsports.com/Mavs3, chatsports.com/Mavs4, and then chatsports.com/Mavs sale. Now let's look at my trade idea to get Andre Drummond to Dallas. Should it happen? Should the Mavs actually be interested? Here's what I got. Andre Drummond and Tony Snell, another guy who's kind of out of that Detroit rotation now that Sekou Doumbouya, who you all know is my guy, is in the rotation, goes to Dallas for Dwight Powell, Jalen Brunson, Justin Jackson, and Courtney Lee. Now here's the deal. Snell and Drummond automatically make this team better overall. Now, I'm not going to disagree with anyone on that. However, you got to give up key pieces in Jalen Brunson. Justin Jackson's been good. Dwight Powell is still your starting center, and he's a good lob threat. I'm not 100% sold on this idea, but I think that's the only way you can get Drummond is if you send back young players like Brunson and Justin Jackson and even Dwight Powell. Courtney Lee's just there to make the money work. So, again, I'm not 100% sold on this idea, but let's look at what a starting 5 would look like with Andre Drummond. It's pretty simple. You plug him into Dwight Powell's role, and you get Luka Doncic, Tim Hardaway Jr., Dorian Finney-Smith, who's been playing amazing basketball, Kristaps Porzingis, and Andre Drummond down low. Now, Drummond is your big body center. Porzingis doesn't have to take as much weight and as much hits down low if you've got Drummond down there. But he doesn't run to the rim as well as Dwight Powell does, but he has a better back to the basket game. However, we know that post-ups are not Rick Carlisle's favorite, and he definitely cannot shoot the 3. But when you put them side by side, the numbers kind of speak for themselves. Drummond is definitely better, statistically speaking, than Dwight Powell. He's averaging 17.4 points per game as opposed to Dwight Powell's 8.7. Rebounds, he's got him beat by over 10 boards per game. He's a better shot blocker. The only thing he doesn't do as well is finish around the rim, just because Dwight Powell's field goal percentage is all because he's at the rim. He's catching lobs from Luka. Now, I will admit, Andre Drummond's never played with a playmaker like Luka Doncic, so who knows what he could become if he were on this Mavs team. Not to mention, he out-rebounds everybody on the Mavs squad. Not everybody just on the Mavs, but everybody in the NBA. But when you look at this Mavs top rebounders, the top 5 rebounders on this team, Luka Doncic is your best rebounder. That is your point guard averaging 9.7 boards per game, followed by Porzingis, who's right there with 9.4. Dwight Powell and Maxi Kleber each average 5.4. Maxi Kleber could be averaging more, I think, if he started. And then Dorian Finney-Smith, that's another forward, a guy who's going in and getting offensive boards. He's averaging 5.3. So you bring Drummond in. This team's already good at rebounding, but you bring Drummond in, nobody's ever going to get a rebound on this team. Now, one thing I have to talk about, because this is the reason that I'm not 100% in on trading for Andre Drummond, is because the Mavs have the #1 offense in the NBA with their team right now. It goes Dallas, then the Houston Rockets, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Los Angeles Lakers, and the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, all of those teams, except maybe for exception with the Houston Rockets, are teams that people expect to be fighting for an NBA championship this year. The Dallas Mavericks have that offensive game already. They don't need to add another guy, but maybe Andre Drummond brings in a different depth. I'm not 100% sold on the idea, but I don't hate the idea either. Here's the real question. Do you guys want Andre Drummond in Dallas? It's dividing everybody. Nobody can agree on whether or not they want Mark Cuban to make a big move. Now, if you want Andre Drummond to Dallas, type Y in the comment section below. If you don't, type in, and here's what we're going to do. You're probably going to get hit with an ad break if you're watching this on YouTube right now. So scroll down, reply to the pinned comment, which is, do you want Andre Drummond in Dallas? And then watch this ad roll through real quickly. Now let's talk about Kristaps Porzingis, who is expected to miss his 5th consecutive game against the Denver Nuggets tonight. Look, he's been dealing with some knee soreness, but the big thing to remember is that it is not the same knee in which he tore his ACL on a couple years ago. The Mavs have been missing a lot, though, in these 4 games that he's already been out. He's averaging 17.3 points per game, 9.4 boards, 2 blocks per game, and shooting 34% from 3. I think the biggest thing, actually, I know the biggest thing the Mavs miss right now is Porzingis' defensive presence. The offense is getting along okay, but in the interior, it just doesn't stack up. Porzingis is a great shot blocker, and he's been a great rebounder this year as well, so that's been hurting them, only having Dwight Powell and Maxi Kleber in there to rebound. Now, the games he has already missed, here you go, right here, the 4 games. Oklahoma City, that's when he was a late scratch, so he was expected to play, was actually in the starting lineup, and then before the game tipped off, he said, hey, my knee's sore, I can't go. The Mavs ended up losing that game to the Thunder on New Year's Eve. The Brooklyn Nets, he was also scratched for that game. He sat out. I was in attendance. We still won the game. It was probably because I was there. Mavs good luck charm, of course. And then the Mavs go and play the Charlotte Hornets. Now, I was also at this game, so maybe I'm not a good luck charm after all. And the Mavs lost it in overtime. Had they had Porzingis in that game, I don't even think we would have had to go to overtime. I think the Mavs would have won by double digits at the end of that one. And then the Chicago Bulls. Now, the Mavs did win that game, and it was a big-time win because the Bulls were playing them close. Luka had a great game. However, the Bulls scored like 70 points in the paint that night. You know why that wouldn't have happened, or how that wouldn't have happened, is if 7'3", 2 block shots per game, Kristaps Porzingis were in the lineup. But he wasn't, and this is what the Mavs had to roll out there. They went with JJ Barea, which is probably the most questionable move Rick Carlisle has made this year, is having JJ in the starting lineup instead of, say, DeLon Wright or even Jalen Brunson. Luka Doncic, of course, handling the ball, so point guard position doesn't even really matter that much. Tim Hardaway Jr. made his return in Chicago, scored 14 first-quarter points. He was huge. Dorian Finney-Smith, big as always, but he's playing the power forward role. And then Dwight Powell is starting at center. So this is a really small lineup. This is what the Mavs have been rolling with without Kristaps Porzingis. So I'm going to ask you, Mavs fans, how worried are you about KP's knee right now? 1 to 10. Put it down in the comment section. Scale of 1 to 10. I'm going to go about a 5 or a 6. I'm not that worried about it, but the fact that he's missed 5 games is a little something to keep an eye on. I think he'll be back in the next game. Hopefully. I guess I said he'd also be back in tonight's game against Denver, but maybe the next game he'll be back and all this will be behind us. The Mavs have a nice little cushion in the playoff spot. They don't really need him that bad right now, but he'll be back soon enough. Let's talk about another issue going on within the Mavs. DeLon Wright, is he having some problems with the way Rick Carlisle is using him? He told Tim Cato of The Athletic that, you know, he would like to start. He enjoyed starting. He kind of expected to start, and he's only started 2 games this season. He's not even starting while KP is out. We just talked about that. JJ Barea has been starting instead. Now look, DeLon Wright hasn't been incredible for the Mavs, but he's been really good. His 4 stats here: points per game, 7.6. He's averaging 3.5 boards, 3 assists, shooting 40.4% from 3. Now, he's not taking a ton, but he's making the ones he is taking. And then one stat you don't see here is that he's averaging 1.4 steals per game. He's been great on the defensive end. Here's what DeLon Wright said to Tim Cato. He was asked, hey, do you like coming off the bench? Is this something you enjoy? Or you feel like you're thriving? And he said, I don't know. It's a coach's decision. Whatever he saw, he wanted me to come off the bench. So, ... kind of can't fight it. Now, we don't know exactly what the tone he used here was. Maybe it really wasn't that bad. Maybe he's just like, yeah, it's just kind of is what it is, and I'm cool with it. But he didn't say that. He said you kind of can't fight it. So, who should be in the starting five every single night? Should DeLon Wright be a starter? I'll say this. He shouldn't be a starter every single night. But if Porzingis is out, if we have some kind of injury, I definitely think he needs to be starting. He is valuable on defense. He makes plays on offense. He gets to the rim. He knocks down a three if he's wide open. I like DeLon Wright a lot. I think I agree with him that, yeah, I would like to start if I were in his position. He was in Memphis where he started and had the ball every single night. Now he comes to a winning team. Now, something too important to remember is that he did say, hey, we're winning, so I can't be that upset about it. I'm not too worried about DeLon Wright complaining about coming off the bench. He's going to be fine as long as we're winning games. Speaking of winning games, you want to win some money? Go to BetDSI, chatsports.com/bet, because they're hooking up our watchers with an incredible deal when you use promo code NBA120 to get a 120% deposit bonus. Go check out BetDSI. Start making some money by betting on some Mavs games today. Let's talk about one more thing. Can't go an episode without talking about Luka Doncic. He got invited to the three-point competition along with Trae Young of the Atlanta Hawks. Obviously, those two linked for all of eternity after the draft night trade sent one to Atlanta, and then Luka, of course, to the Dallas Mavericks. Now, interesting to note, Luka's only shooting 33% from three this year. Not great. So, kind of interesting that he got invited to the three-point competition, but when you put these two side by side, I've said it before on this show. I'll say it a million times over. Luka is unequivocally the better player. 29 points per game, 9 assists, 10 boards, 47% from the field, and then you have it the 33.1% from three. Now, that is one area in which Trae Young has him beat. Trae Young shooting 37.5% from three this year. Trae Young is really good. I actually have no beef with Trae Young. I think he's an incredible player. I think he's an incredible three-point shooter and deserves to get invited to the three-point competition because this competition is all about how fast you can get shots off and make them effectively. Trae Young's got a quick release. He's going to do great in this competition. Now, again, let's revisit this. Luka's shooting 33.1% from three. The last 5 winners of the three-point competition, here was their three-point percentage in the years in which they won. Joe Harris last year shot 47.4%. That's a lot better than 33%. Devin Booker at 38.3%. Eric Gordon, the lowest of the last 5 at 37.2%. And then, of course, the Splash Brothers coming back-to-back. Klay Thompson was shooting at 43% that year. Stephen Curry shooting 44.3% from three in the year in which he won. So, if Luka were to win this thing, if he were to accept his invitation and go and win the three-point competition, he would be one of the lowest three-point percentage shooters in history of shooting during the three-point competition. So, pretty interesting concept. I'm interested to see if he accepts that invitation. And here's what it all boils down to. Who would win in a three-point competition today? If it were tonight, Trae Young versus Luka Doncic, who would win? Type T for Trae, type L for Luka. I'm going to stick with my guy. I'm going Luka Doncic here. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below.